everyone. I'm Nina Collins here from Revel. This is our weekly recording of our podcast, Raging Gracefully. Today we're talking about fitness, and not fitness to be vain, but fitness to be healthy and to feel great. And our special guest is Elaine Economou. Elaine is the co-founder and CEO of Move Wellness in Ann Arbor, Michigan. She just launched her first on-demand program called Movement Essentials, which we're going to learn all about. She's a Reveler. She hosts lots of events on Revel. Move also offers in-person instruction and has an online library of classes that's expanding all the time. So in addition to all this, Elaine, as I said, is a Reveler. She's a Revel Power Host, which means you can take her classes from her. I don't know if you charge for all your classes, if you do free and charged. I can't remember. You're going to tell us all about it. So hi, Elaine.
Yeah, thank you, Nina. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's nice to see you. Remind me to start how you came into the community. I can't remember.
Oh, well, I'm a wolfer. I've been a wolfer since I don't even know how long, a long time. And so it's just a wolfer. I don't know if you get to tell people what that is, but that.
Yeah, well, I mean, for people who don't know, well, actually, we have a good piece of blog content on the Reveler blog called "What is a Wolfer?" and it explains that I started this community like 6 years ago on the East Coast, and we ended up merging with Revel. So Wolfer just is like a subgroup of Revel. How did you find out about the Wolfers all the way in Michigan? Do you know?
You know, that's really interesting. And I wonder, I don't remember. I literally don't remember, but I know that I hopped on Facebook, joined the group, one of the first groups, and just appreciated so much that there was open and honest conversation and that there was a place for me. And your story resonated with me so much. And the little tidbits I remember of you being somewhere with your kids and they were kind of crabby and you were sweaty. I'm making it up. Like,
you know, you got it.
Like, I can't be the only person going through this, but that's how I've spent a lot of my time thinking I can't be the only person who this is happening to. And then I go out and try and find my people that way. So that's how
Yeah, I mean, that is what makes the community so special. I have to say, like, it's true. When I started it, I was 46, and you know, it was actually a lot about kind of what we're talking about here today. It was kind of about the physical changes in my body and the way I looked, and I was feeling. I mean, there were lots of other things going on, but I remember at that moment comparing myself to my teenage daughters, you know, and feeling really demoralized. I'm like beyond that now at 52. I'm like, whatever. Now my current obsession at the moment is kind of parenting kids in their 20s and like how to do it best. And I am finding yet again that like I'm not alone and that all these women understand and I get great advice from them and help. So
Right.
Yeah, we need each other.
That's exactly true. And I think that, you know, my role in the Wolfer was anytime I heard, and this is sort of how the trajectory of my life, I show up and I see where what I can do will fit in, and I sort of weave my way into helping people. There was lots of conversation about, you know, someone would say, does anyone sneeze and pee? Because I'm sneezing and peeing, I'm a little worried. And someone would say, yes, do Kegels. And I would pop in and say, wait, you know, like, why don't you think about a little bit of moving your back? It's a little more complicated. And then another conversation I remember is about plantar fasciitis. And so people saying, what works for plantar fasciitis? And people saying, roll your foot on the frozen water bottle or stretch your toes out, and me popping in saying, wait, go ahead and do that. But think about your whole body and get curious about what might be happening in your body to cause that to happen. And lots of time. And then it just became really clear that offering some easy movement solutions for women in this group was something that is part of my mission and
what you can offer in your mission. And that's actually really lovely to think about. I've never actually thought about it in quite that way, Elaine, about like what we each bring to the community and, you know, what insight we offer that's particularly helpful or what skills we have. And like I know who to tag if I'm curious about, like, if I'm looking for a dress for a certain occasion, you know, like we kind of rely on
your dress the other day, that cute thing that you posted. So yeah, I bought a mattress. I've bought
a lot of stuff from the community.
Everything we do, we search that group. But a year ago, I don't know if you remember this, I started offering a once a month workout Wednesday for free
Yeah.
in the Wolfer app. And we changed topics because I wanted to troubleshoot and send women in the right direction for taking care of their bodies. And so we talked about pelvic floor health. We talked about low back pain. We talked about neck and shoulder pain. And then when you launched Revel last summer, or merged with Revel, I just thought, well, this is just great. I will continue to do that. So my Workout Wednesday is free, and it's my sort of service to the community of different topics. I invite topics. We did hips this month, and it was so fun. I got some notes back from women who had very particular issues that it helped them start to unravel. So,
well, that's so great. That's amazing that you do that. Let's back up. Tell me a little bit about how you became, got interested in fitness and Pilates, and like, were you always this person, or did you have a different career when you were younger?
well, I was a dancer, am a dancer, I guess, once you're a dancer. And so when I left college on Long Island, I went to New York City and did my dance thing, and realized pretty quickly that although I love living in Manhattan, I had this vision like, I don't care, I'm going to move the rest of my life. I don't care. I think it's going to be in a forest, but I know this isn't the life for me. Like I'll call it the starving artist life, but like that strain and stress was not something I could manage with trying to.
I didn't know that you grew up in Long Island. Where in Long
No,
Island?
I grew up in Massachusetts, but I went to Hofstra.
Okay. So you went to Hofstra, you were a dancer, then you moved to New York. And then how long did it take for you to get out of New York?
3 years in, I thought I have to do something that brings me joy. Like I need something to light me up. And my whole life I worked with kids, and I was, assisting in the dance studio. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna get a job helping, kids. And so I got a job assistant as the choreographer for a high school musical at LaSalle Academy on 2nd Avenue, 2nd Street. And the guy I eventually married hired me. He was from Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And so and it was this really weird thing where I was like too young. I had my great roommates in Manhattan. We were having a good time. And I met him and I thought, I wanted to be a little older when this happened. And he was such a wonderful guy that it was then I thought, I really can't say no to this. This is happening right now. So we moved to Chicago for a short stint, and then we moved back to the Ann Arbor area. I've been here a long damn time now.
Wow. And so how much older is he than you?
Oh, he's about 4 years older than me.
Okay,
So I was not much older than these high school students that I was choreographing musicals for. So it was a really fun time, and yeah.
All right. So you moved to Michigan. I've never been to Ann Arbor. I need to get out there. And then did you open a Pilates? Like, how long have you had Move Fitness?
Oh, so Move. I became a Pilates instructor as I left the dance world. I thought to myself, I didn't know what was next for me. I thought maybe I'll become a physical therapist. I had my first son, and I thought, well, I have to do what everyone else is going to do. I have to go to the gym. And I went to the gym and I looked at the fitness floor. The wellness center that we have here is up, you walk in, you're up high, you look down on the fitness floor, and everyone looked miserable. Like they looked disassociated from their body. They, no pain, no gain, that whole idea. And here I was leaving something that was the hardest physical work I'd ever done, but it brought me so much joy. And I thought, well, what is missing? And so that really did lead me to Pilates. I had done a little Pilates in Chicago and becoming a teacher, and then slowly over time building my practice. So it's been 24 years.
Nice. Every Pilates person I think I've ever known was a dancer. So there's.
And I think I think that there's a reason. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I think there's a hook of the sense of proprioception and understanding and knowing where your body is in space and connecting to the mindfulness aspect of it that we have to do in our technique as dancers. And the idea that makes movement more efficient, more effective, and helps us, again, bring that sense of embodiment to movement.
Embodiment and balance and kind of centeredness. Yeah. I used to have a reformer and a Cadillac. Actually, I was really into Pilates in my 30s. And I had this house in the country and I bought some used Pilates equipment from someone and had it in the garage and was really into it. You know how you go, well, I go through exercise phases. Like now I'm in a soul cycle phase. But I had a long Pilates phase and really loved it.
Yeah.
So I guess we should talk a little bit about, there's this whole idea as we're in our 50s, which is helping me a little bit. Like I do think about exercise more now is for health than for vanity. Like I feel like how much better am I really going to look? Probably not that much better, but it's super important to be healthy. So how do you bring that to your practice? And like, how do you think about what women our age need to be doing?
Right. Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is I think the idea that we move our bodies or do fitness to look a certain way is really sort of to me, it's a function of our conditioning. Right?
Totally. It's cultural.
It's cultural.
Yeah.
And with that comes all of the weight of all the body issues every woman at every age and stage of their life have or has had at some point. And so for me, I feel like that's something that over time, my mission is to help people get strong enough to live a life they love. But this idea that by the time we're in our 50s, we get to say, I'm really going to be done with that. I'm totally done with that. And that there's a couple of things I encourage women to think about. One is what our posture. And what I mean, our cultural posture, I call it our cultural posture or genetic posture. Our genetic posture is our shape and size. You might be built just like your mother was. And you might have, my family has abnormally long toes. And my son and my husband from the back look exactly alike, wide shoulders, skinny butts. So genetically understanding our own bodies as we, at any age and stage, but as we age, helps us understand how forces are moving through our body. And looking at what I call our cultural posture, which is two things. One is what we have to do all day, sit at a desk, stand at a counter, move around in healthcare, and what we love to do. And so you take those three things, what we have to do, what we love to do, and our genetic posture, and you put them together, and then you understand what your own needs are for your body. So you take that and put it on one shelf. And then the other piece that I really want to help people understand is, we grew up thinking, oh, I got to do my cardio. I'll stretch on Saturday, but I got to get my cardio in because I have to burn my calories. I got to get my heart rate up. And the Heart Association says you have to do cardio. Well, the truth is research is really showing us that we actually need all the levels of stimulation, not only to keep all of the systems of our body active, like we're a living tissue, ball of tissue that has to have forces put on it to help all the systems work well. And so this idea that we are trying to move the body and load our body on all the different levels. So now if you look at the Heart Association's website, they not only say get your heart rate up, but it also says you need mindfulness, because you need to calm down, calm your
you have to calm your system down.
Your hormones in balance. And so the fact that women are so confused about what do I do, right? And usually it's a formula of, well, what do you love to do? So do you love to ride your bike? Do you love to paddle? Do you love to garden? Do you love to walk or run? We'll do a lot of that, and then pepper in a few of the other things, and then help unravel your posture to keep you either injury-free or manage we all have issues at our age and stage of life.
I know. I mean, it feels overwhelming a little bit. Like as you're speaking, it's also interesting. And then I'm thinking, there's always this sense of how do you get the right balance, right? The right combination. Like I think I do what I really love to walk and bike and paddleboard and do yoga. And I do all those things. And as I said, I'm now back in like a little bit of a soul cycle phase, because for some reason right now the sweating is feeling good, but I go in and out of that. I hate to run, but should I be doing more meditation? Yes. This is these feelings.
Like, how do you have aches and pains? Like your inventory, you're the boss of your own body. If you feel good and you feel calm and you feel right, then you are bringing all of the elements that you need into your body. It's this question of being responsive. I think.
That's a really good point. Just listening to really how you feel. Yeah. And like when you have phases, you know how with men, I don't know about you, but for me in the beginning of menopause, like in my late 40s, I had really creaky joints. I would stand up out of bed and like everything was weird. And now that's gone away. So you're right. You kind of have to listen to just where you are at any given moment and think about what you need. And maybe that's why I've turned back to SoulCycle suddenly. Like I used to do it maybe 10 years ago. I was really into it. And then I just in the last 6 weeks have been going like all the time. It just feels like what I need right now.
Right. And you're responding to something that you need, as opposed to, I mean, think about all the times we might have said to ourselves, I got to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I should go to the gym. I got to do this, or I should do that, or creating a whole shame cycle around what we should be doing.
Yeah.
The deeper responsiveness that comes.
Well, that's interesting. Actually, that makes me think about, I mean, it's funny. This goes back to the question of dealing with our children in some ways. I think we've all had this experience, if we have children, of feeling like our kids should do X or should do, Y, particularly as they get into their 20s, right? Should my child exercise more? Should my child eat less junk food? And what I've been reading is I've been kind of reading all these books on how to parent kids at this age. What everyone is telling me is stop giving advice. Don't tell them what to do. Just don't tell them at all what to do. Yeah. And so when you have someone you love who you feel like isn't exercising enough, and we've had posts like this, like in the Wolfer, right? We've had posts where women have said, like, my husband's gotten really fat and I'm not attracted to him anymore and I don't know how to deal with it. I mean, what do you do? I guess you do nothing. I guess you ignore it. You say that person has to figure it out on their own time.
Yeah, I think that's really fascinating. That's a great question, because I think you did a wellness coach training, or a coaching training at some point. I think we talked about this in a class. And one of the things I did years ago is that I noticed that as people were changing their bodies, they started to feel better and get stronger. And it was actually mostly women in their 50s and 60s at the time. They would say things like, I have so much more energy. I think I'm going to change my diet. What do you eat? And I would think, well, this is outside of my scope of practice. I can't really talk to you about that. But I got really curious about behavior change science. And so I did a really great sort of white paper heavy wellness coach training. And I was fascinated by this idea that, people make behavior changes based on how they feel after they do the thing. So if it's like for fitness and exercise. So if somebody goes for a walk and they feel really great afterwards and they appreciate the walk, they're outside in nature and the smells were good and the breeze on their skin, they're more likely to do it again because of that. Not because anything they should do or anything anyone else told them. And I will say, my son just moved to Queens, to Astoria, and he said to me, I got worried about them making the drive out. They were really tired. He and his girlfriend, they had been up all night packing and they were headed out. They were going to drive the whole way, unpack the truck. They'd been to New York twice, right? So I said to him, do you want to maybe stay in a hotel? And he said, Mom, you're either going to manifest me up or you're going to manifest me down. So,
oh, nice.
I was like, okay, very smart. I'm done.
Yeah.
I got
travel safe, have fun. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, these are lessons. I mean, look, it's good that we're continuing to learn things every day. Manifest me up or manifest me down is good. Well, so tell us what your Movement Essentials program is. Tell us how does that work?
The Movement Essentials, it's a program that came out of me in a big hurry. So, it was something that was like ready and ripe to be delivered. I sort of thought some of the problems we see in our industry is that, in order to value what we do what we do as trainers, it's expensive to do what we do. And we give individualized support and custom support. And so there's a value to that. And I'm trying to value us as this work as a career. And and the idea that now we're much more comfortable on Zoom and on screens. And it was something we thought we thought, maybe we'll do it someday in March of 2020.
I know, it's amazing, right? That conversion is kind of crazy. Like we're so comfortable exercising on screens now. It's awesome. Yeah.
And so now, so what I did was, I thought to myself, what can I give someone to let them do this on their own at home? Because I saw that people wanted to, at all ages and stages, but there's this trajectory of foundational movement principles that are super helpful, and that can get organized in your body. And I thought, well, what's the ideal way to help somebody do that? And I just wrote this 28-day program where it's 3 20-minute classes a week. 2 of them are classes and 1 of them is a special topic, like maybe your pelvic floor, maybe bone health. And then I did in the Movement Essentials, my first program, Gentle Pilates for Everyday Life. I also had a mindfulness session in there. So what I'm trying to do is give everyone all the information I would give somebody in the studio, but in a way that they can do it in little small bites at home on their own over time, again and again and again. So it's a 20.
So it's just like, it's 3 segments that you just do all the time over and over?
No, it's 4 weeks, 3 classes a week. So it's 12 classes. Plus some introductory topics. I do one on breathing and the anatomy of breath. I mean, if, Pilates casts such a wide net that if I could just get people to breathe well, a lot of our pelvic floor and back pain, and our hip mobility things, some of that would just sort of resolve itself. It's part of what happens as you do Pilates. So it's 12 classes, 4 weeks, 3 classes a week. And it's something that people can, and there's some special topics to help you, understand particular aspects of women's health, and then some introductory topics like neutral pelvis and how to breathe well and why mindfulness. Why am I talking about?
Oh, great. And it's all recorded, so you don't listen to it live. You listen to it whenever you want. And do people pay for it as a whole? Like you buy the whole month?
Yep. So you buy the program and everything's on our website, and you have access to it forever. Wow. So I just finished recording my 3rd
It's like your own like Jane Fonda workout. It's Elaine Economou's special Pilates workout.
Oh, right. Isn't that funny? I have such weird memories about Jane Fonda, but yeah.
I'm a huge Jane Fonda fan. So.
Yeah. Well, Grace and Frankie was certainly
yeah, no, I know she's controversial, or she was at different points in her career. She's what I think of when I think of the first. I mean, isn't she what we all think of when we think of the first exercise videos?
Absolutely.
And now, in a way, we've gone back in some way to exercise videos. Now that we have really, I mean, obviously, we do exercise live on Zoom and we do record it. But do you also have live classes?
We have about 30 classes a week, live stream. And I was just talking with. I'm teaching a class on Revel and one of my colleagues is teaching a class on Revel, but our live stream classes through the business are, they're just so fun to have. I take them 30 minutes twice a week at 7 a.m. It's accountability, it's the engagement, it's seeing other faces, and the faces by now, it's 2 years, right? People have been
I need to take one of your classes. I don't know why I'm not doing your classes. I would love it. Okay, yeah. I'm going to look them up.
Okay.
I love a good exercise class. What'd you say?
There's one on Wednesdays on Revel.
Okay.
I just taught my first Powerhouse class today. So yes, our live stream classes are super fun.
Okay. I promise I'm going to sign up and take one. Sometimes it's as with everything, right? It's just discipline and just making things a regular part of your schedule. But I really love Pilates and I like doing classes online.
Have you ever done gyrotonic?
I've done a little bit of gyrotonic. The machine, if you don't know what it is, well, maybe you can explain it, Elaine. It's a very weird looking thing, but I have done some of it a while ago in my 30s again. So God, it's weird to say my 30s, and that's now like 20 years ago.
I know for sure. I moved here when I was 25 to Michigan.
So what is gyrotonic in your words?
The gyrotonic expansion system is a newer system of movement, also deeply anatomical like Pilates is, that has a machine, another machine. If you know Pilates, you know it has machines as well when you do it in the studio, but it also has a way you can practice it on a stool and on a mat called gyrokinesis. So there's gyrotonic, which you do with the equipment, specialized equipment, and gyrokinesis. It's like a more fluid yoga. So you feel like you're getting a workout and a massage. And again, it has this sort of those deeper principles of anatomy and movement that we address in Pilates, but it's just a little more fluid. And so
it's also kind of like Pilates in that there's Pilates with the equipment and then there's mat Pilates, right? So they're two different kinds.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And I've never known anyone who does gyrotonics who's not a Pilates person. So they seem very aligned.
Yes and no. I mean, I know plenty that don't teach both, but you're right that it all comes from, you know, it's a growing community. It's really big and people come from all different ways. So, yeah.
So if you only had time to do like one exercise a day, what would it be?
It would be breathing well.
Oh, wow. How do you breathe well? Now I'm worried I'm not breathing well.
We're gonna breathe into the sides and back of your rib cage. And you're going to just release and open. And sometimes you can't feel it right away. You have to kind of practice opening. So your diaphragm, your diaphragm presses down, and then your organs have somewhere to go. And your pelvic floor expands as you inhale. And then as you exhale, your pelvic floor lifts. Your deepest core stabilizer, your transverse abdominis. If you have good tone, you want to practice that in Pilates and gyrotonic. And then it helps you expel all of your air. So you want everything to feel like it's expanding three-dimensionally, your pelvic floor, your diaphragm, your trunk, and then exhale, pelvic floor lifts, abdominals pull in, and your diaphragm goes back to where it was. Make it efficient.
That feels good. That does feel really good. Do you do that every day?
Well, I do breathing. I actually started in January a meditation practice. So I'm doing some pranayama breathing and some which is similar to this, different types of breathing exercises and some meditation every day. My second exercise would be a squat. So a really deep for you squat. Mm-hmm.
How many squats do you do a day?
So I do them for range of motion as opposed to just getting your back chain strong, your butt strong. So there are different ways to approach a squat. But for us, if you think about older ways in our bodies, we used to squat every day, 6 or 7 times a day, right? Before toilets. Our bodies are really meant to be in that more primal posture.
Yeah.
And there are and that helps you organize that pelvic floor, that deep transverse abdominis, and your diaphragm, and helps you breathe well. So
did I hear though at some point in terms of pelvic floor health that squats can, if you have the problem of over tightening your pelvic floor, squats can actually be bad for you?
Well, squats can be bad for any person at any time for any particular reason, right? And if you have, your pelvic floor is a sling of muscles, Nina, and one of those muscles can be hypertonic, over tight.
I have that.
Because you have a tilt in your pelvis, or you've had surgery, or you've had a car accident, you've had any reason. And so squeezing the bejesus out of anything over and over again, or pulling on something pulling on something that is hypertonic or super tight is none of that's good. But that's the sort of understanding your own unique body.
Got it.
Awareness to whatever it is you're practicing, your classes or your work with a trainer.
Yeah. If only we all had someone like you working with us every single day, that'd be so great.
And if you just do
If you do your program.
Movement Essentials, right?
Okay, and how much does Movement Essentials cost?
It costs $99.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
When did you launch it?
Movement Essentials came out this winter. I feel like I've been recording every weekend since last May, though. So, because our studio is only closed on Sundays, so it means I rehearse on Saturday and I record on Sundays. So it's been out since the winter. We have the second one Yeah, we have the second one up now. We just finished recording the third. Are people asking about squats? Because I really want to hear what they're saying.
No, Michelle is just saying good caution about squats and lifting to heavy loads and propensity to prolapse the uterus. Not, and she's saying not that they're not important. So she's agreeing with us.
Right.
So,
I think that it's just the idea that, you know, what my best exercise is right now in my body might not be the same for you.
yeah,
So
well, it's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning.
Right? Your low back might be tight and you might need to do a cat stretch or what we call a bridge or hip rolls to articulate your spine. I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, I was just curious what you like, but you're absolutely right. At different times, I mean, our bodies are constantly changing, and it's just like what we were talking about at the beginning. It's we are always needing different things. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, thank you so much. This is great. More information about the Movement Essentials package, please. $99. Elaine mentioned the third one. So each program is different.
Oh.
My understanding, Susan, is that there are 12 sessions, right, Elaine?
There's 12 classes, 3 classes a week for 4 weeks. And can I put my website in the chat?
Please put your website in the chat. Absolutely.
Wellness.com. And Susan, it's all kind of outlined there. It sounds a little confusing. We have my movement essential programs, and then we just have some bundles of classes that we've recorded with me and some of my colleagues here at Move, because I have the best Pilates staff and gyrotonic staff on the planet. But you
how many staff members do you have?
15.
Wow, that's a big studio.
It is.
That's really impressive. That's
We're
really cool.
An incredible group of people. We work with a couple of hospital systems locally, and we got a lot on our plate.
Wow, that's awesome, Elaine. It's really, I want to visit you. I definitely have to get out to Ann Arbor and visit you. Well, all right. So it sounds like for our listeners, there are a lot of different ways you can access Elaine's knowledge and talent, right? She has, if you go to movewellness.com, there are all sorts of different classes you can sign up for. You can sign up for this Movement Essentials program. You can also try her out by doing, it sounds like there's a free class on Revel every Wednesdays. What time is that, Elaine?
On Wednesdays.
Once a month.
Wednesday.
Workout Wednesday, once a month on Revel.
8 o'clock Eastern, maybe the first or second of the month, week of the month. Just look. And
yeah, you can search for her under events.
Yeah, I just started teaching a 30-minute Wednesday class, but look for me and Move Wellness because our power host is our brand page. So we're there as Move Wellness. Okay,
good. So look for Move Wellness and look for Elaine. And very soon on Revel, we're going to have the ability to favorite people and search for people by their events, which I think is, follow people by their events, which I think is going to be really helpful. And I'm just glad to get to spend some time talking to you and I'm encouraged now to do a little Pilates and also to think a little bit more about my breathing, which is always important.
Some mindful breathing every day will help you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.